decision to be a faithful kingdom financier, a faithful kingdom financier, or a faithful kingdom steward. You have to make that decision this year, that this year you will put God's kingdom first in the area of financing the kingdom of God. In the area of financing the kingdom of God. And that includes not playing with paying your tithes, not playing with your partnership, not playing with your offerings, not playing with your first fruits. As the year has taken off, one of the things you must do is to put God first in the area of your first fruit. Bible said, honor the Lord with your substance and with the first fruit of thy increase. Punch it on the screen, type it and punch it. Honor the Lord with thy substance and with the first fruit of all thy increase. So God expects that as a year begins like this, that you put him first in the area of your finances. Kingdom financiers are never broke people. People who make God's house priority. People who makes God's house their first point of contact. Whatever they do, first thing they do is to see that God's kingdom is thriving. The first thing they do is to see that God's kingdom is advancing. First thing they do is to see that God's kingdom is making progress. People like that never go down. Kingdom financiers are very strategic people to God. People who put God's kingdom first are the one God always put first in everything that God does. God does not play with people who prioritize his kingdom. So the decision to make this year is to ensure that you decide that God, in your house this year, I will not play with my role in financing the kingdom. I will not play with my role in funding the gospel. I won't play with my role in giving to the advancement of the kingdom of God. And this is what Proverbs chapter 3 verse 9 said. Honor the Lord with your possessions and with the first fruits of all your increase. You see, it's a commandment. This is what the Lord commands that you do, that you honor him with your substance. This is not man's idea. When we talk about giving to the Lord and giving to the funding of his gospel, we're not trying to tell you something that was concocted by one man somewhere and being promoted by some people. No, we're talking about something that God has put as a law in his kingdom, and that people who practice these things will always have the best of life. God has a way of rewarding people who honor him. God has a way of blessing and lifting people who make his kingdom a priority. Listen, I have seen the difference between a man who honors God and a man who does not honor God. I have seen the difference between a man who put God's kingdom first in the area of finance and a man who says, no, God is not priority to me. I've seen the difference. I have seen the difference. I have been in a city and I see where people dishonor God, and I've been to other cities and I see where people's passion and curiosity is the advancement of God's kingdom. I mean, I was in a church somewhere in a certain country and I was talking with some people. These are not pastors, and all through my talking with them, they kept expressing their burden. I just finished preaching a message and they came to see me and they were talking to me about, Pastor, everything you were teaching was a confirmation. He said, last night I and my team in church, we were having a prayer meeting and the Lord was talking to each and every one of us. We're giving prophecies. All of us were talking to ourselves and everything was the same. And what were we talking about? What we need to do for God, kingdom of God, the area we need to. This one said, my new burden is to pray for the church, is to pray. This one said, my new burden is to finance, is to. He said, everything you were talking about kingdom, he said, this was a confirmation. We didn't know that you were going to be preaching. He said, your preaching today, sir, was a confirmation. One said, sir, I don't feel satisfied. I've done this for the Lord, I've done this, but the Lord is expecting more from me. Like, sir, I don't feel satisfied. I've seen what people have done for God, and I feel like I've been playing. Like, if they open my book in heaven, what is going to be my account statement? Reading. I was looking at these young ladies and young men talking with tears in their eyes. I said, no wonder these people are lifted. No wonder when you go to the car garage at the end of a service, you see exotic cars. No wonder you see them dedicating houses, dedicating vehicles, dedicating things, businesses, because these are people who have put God's kingdom first. Listen to me, I will say this on camera and I mean it. Ebonyi State does not know God. I don't care how you feel about it. This is a city where fathers and their children have denied God. You don't know God. God is not a priority here. Somebody who rightly told me, a minister of the gospel who came to this land one time, I had a conference he attended. He told me, he said, Pastor, how are you doing the things you do in this kind of city? He said, one thing I know about Ebonyi is that it's the most stingy state in Nigeria. is this city called Aba, the most stingy. People don't give here. He said people are like this here, and that's why they are poor. That's why they are poor. You can never go to a city and see poverty and not link it to the fact that people don't give. It's the truth.